If we look at our lives as a whole, there's one day that probably stands out as a very important day. Although the day of our birth is meaningful in many ways and everybody all over the world likes to celebrate their birthdays, it comes once. When we were born, we did not have the awareness to appreciate that momentous day. But there is another day of equal or perhaps greater importance. This time, we can prepare and be ready. Through awareness, we prepare for probably the most important day of our lives. That day is when we become aware of the today. Today has all the elements of being the most momentous day in our existence. The sun is up, gravity hasn't given up on us, food is available, water is fresh, air is plentiful. Everything, all the requirements for life are right here with us, supporting every one of us. The mind sees today as a passing phase between yesterday, which is gone, and tomorrow that is yet to come. The body is alive today and is a living extension of today. But it will change with the numerous sunrises and sunsets yet to come in our future. Today can become the most important day of our lives when we are conscious, aware, and alive in every waking moment. We may be alive, breathing, eating, talking, working, but the day becomes just like any other day when we don't have that awareness. When we add the element of becoming conscious and aware as all activities play out around us and through us, the day then becomes priceless. Are we ready to embrace this priceless gift of living in the consciousness of today? Just for one day, let's make it today. If we were to practice being conscious and aware of most of what we do, all our activities, or some of them, it will change our lives forever. Our individual consciousness records all our thoughts and actions. This is like a security camera that continuously records whether someone is looking at what's being recorded in real time or not. We don't have to create a new thought or an idea from which to watch this process of recording. When we turn our attention away from the mind, we may get a chance to sit in the secure room of our own being, our individual consciousness, and get a taste of becoming a witness to all that is happening all around us. Why is such awareness of happenings around us important? Everything that we perceive changes. Understanding that this change is part of natural existence comes when we can step back and observe the change. It saves us a lot of grief and heartache when we know that what we consider as good or bad, good fortune or misfortune, are both changing experiences. We are all in search of a lasting, changeless state. We may call it eternity, but it is not a day that shows up in the future. Today is eternity. Today can be eternity. The mind will not let us agree. It has constructed an idea for us, an idea of changelessness as being just out of reach. We keep looking and searching through the lens of the mind, which is not pointed on today, but it is trained on the past and the future. Awareness of our activities in real time helps us forget the mind. Just like the witnessing consciousness continuously registers all that is happening, the mind also records. But there's a big difference. The mind is partial and has a preference based on what it understands as our likes or dislikes. If there is awareness without any preference, no reaction to experiences as the mind does, or seeking something other than what is right now, right here, the mind then becomes a transparent lens which will not interfere or cloud the lens of our witnessing consciousness, our inner being. The witnessing consciousness does not lend a personal perspective to any of the data dump that comes in via the five senses, unlike the mind, which always attaches the feeling of I. We are watching thoughts all the time, not from a witnessing consciousness, but from the perspective of that I, the individual identity that we hold dear. Through this individual identity, any watching or witnessing has a motive. We are constantly waiting for pleasant experiences, and we try to grab them as they come, and then we put them away as ours, to safeguard what we consider as ours while we continue to look for more experiences. The mind then creates the past. The mind can also motivate us to keep going on the search for experiences by projecting a rosy future. Caught between the past and the future, today becomes just another ordinary day, a passing phase, one we take for granted, and it disappears when we fall asleep at night time. Just as clouds clear, revealing a tall, majestic mountain that has always been there, when the mind clears, it reveals the openness, the freedom of today. That freedom of today, when awareness is active and alive, in tune with the rest, there is peace, bliss, and joy. Like the earth, which is tied to the sun's orbit, we tie ourselves around a tight orbit around the mind. We may never know the free expanse and the potential that comes with being in today. The more powerful the mind, greater is its reach and harder it becomes to leave its orbit. The mind gains power as it begins to accumulate all that we like. When the mind holds on to an image of an object or an experience, it gives it a significant meaning by mixing and matching and adding in all our emotional energies to a particular experience. Otherwise, an object would just be a cold, lifeless thing when the mind is not excited about it. We put everything we consider as meaningful and precious to us into one basket, the leaky basket of the mind. Hence, the fear of losing access to all that the mind stores for us. The mind is a vast storehouse. Just for today, on this day, if we were to forget the past, not relive the moment in the past, or fear a future which we can imagine and create to suit our mood, what would we see? The sun, the sky, and the moon we missed yesterday, while lost in this make-believe world of the mind, will carry a new meaning when we look at them through the lens of today. The sky stands for eternity, the sun stands for clarity of true wisdom, and the moon is like the mind. Just as the moon shines through reflected light, the mind reflects the light of wisdom when it shines forth from within. We are not living in isolation. There's always one relationship or another which we form. The most significant one for us is the relationship with the mind. If we were to swap this relationship that we have with the mind and replace it with another relationship, the one with existence, by becoming one with everything today, we would likely see freshness, energy, joy, and gratitude flood our lives and fill our being. We have all won the lottery of existence by virtue of being alive here today. All we have to do is claim that prize. What matters is that we are here now. What is stopping us from rightfully claiming the joy and happiness that comes with being here and now. Our perspective. Our perspective determines whether today is the most special day of our lives or just another ordinary day. The mind will say, there is nothing special about today, and it will show us a significant past, memories of the past, and eventful future to come just to prove its point. We tend to go with the mind's version, and we forget today, the openness and freedom of today. If we start with what we previously considered as insignificant, an example, the rustling of leaves in the wind, and contemplate on that event, we can significantly change our perspective. When wind brushes against leaves, they come alive and they dance with the wind. There is no resistance or pushback. They both blend in harmony. Whichever way the wind blows, the leaves turn. Together they dance in the wind and create a soft rustling sound we find so pleasing and relaxing. We can recreate on a computer perhaps the same visual and sound that leaves make when they flutter in the wind, but being in that experience is totally different. When we experience that scenario in real time, standing outside, feeling the coolness of the wind on our face and our hands, we don't hold on to the thoughts of the I as individual and separate. When we are not different from the rest, perhaps the wind will also make us dance just like it does the leaves on a tree. A child spontaneously splashes and jumps whenever it sees a puddle of water. Today, this moment now is our puddle of water, our puddle of joy. There's room for everyone to join in as we sing and dance, celebrate, and letting go of the past and the future. What will remain is today. Whatever we accomplish in life, it can only be done today, not yesterday and not tomorrow. Seize this day with awareness, with full awareness, and become the present, one with existence, and the rest will follow.